Good evening and welcome to Guna Matters. Welcome back. We are live tonight. I'm just waiting for my panelists to come on, and that should be any time now. But in the meantime, I just want to say welcome and enjoy the ride. We obviously just going to talk about the previous the previous results and obviously that's the reviews on those results, and then of course the preview on this weekend's game against Liverpool. So let us get this out of the way. Hit the like, subscribe to Guna Matters, obviously, and also put on the notification so you can get all the notifications when we are live. So yeah, I've got a lot of I got a lot of thoughts on what's happening at Arsenal now, but there's so many other controversies as well, and that's one thing that I don't like is to obviously um, do the blame game or the excuse game, or yeah, I don't like to use excuses, especially injury excuses, referee excuses, all those type of thing. So yeah, I don't have any reason to do that other than blaming my team if I have to, and of course blaming the lineout, calling out the lineout from the um, from the coach and the staff, and of course the players' performances. So yeah, I don't know. There's some sort of a delay for my panelists to get onto the site. So yeah, just give me a second. Excuse me. So I'm gonna continue in the meantime to talk about the ladies' game. Yeah, the ladies is really being giving us a lot of stress in the last couple of weeks. However, and there's so many things that has given the ladies some confidence. Is the new stand-in manager or coach, at least, Renee Slegers or Slegers, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but Renee Slegers is the Dutch assistant coach that was to Jonas Adderveld. Now, since Jonas Adderveld left, he obviously had a couple of stinkers. He had a couple of stinkers. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have a one guy is not able to move in, so I'm not sure if my settings is correct. However, Jonas Adderveld had a couple of stinkers in terms of his last 4 games, in fact, which is the beginning of the season for the ladies. So he had he had Leicester away and barely scraped past Leicester in a 1-0. Then he had Everton at home at the Emirates, and that was a bad result. nil draw. I mean, it's at the Emirates, and you've got so many people there watching the ladies. And then in the Champions League that week after, um, we had a howler against Bayern Munich, coming from behind 5-2, lost to Bayern Munich. And then, of course, the home lose against Chelsea again, 2-1, where Chelsea also annihilates us. And then it says was he mutually agreed with the club to resign, and having to resign from a position of head coach, there's a lot of question marks, obviously, that I had in terms of, was he fired, was he sacked, or did he really um, resign? So there's so many things up in the air and question marks, and but he's left, and we wished him well, and we had our opinions about it. But yeah, so after that, we had Renee Slegers as the assistant coach to him, which is now caretaker coach, and she had taken 2 games, and her first game was at home to Vallegra. What is the team? Valerenga in the Champions League, whereby we won them 4-1. And that suggests that Renee is something to look forward to in the absence of a head coach. And then, of course, away to West Ham over the weekend. Also, slow start, but we got away with 2-0, as you can see there. Now, the question that I'm asking is, what is these ladies' mindset like? Did they play against the likes of Jonas? Did they put him up for failure because of his tactics that is changed, his game style, his plans, how he fielded the players? Did they set him up to fail, the ladies, the players? And was it fair towards him to obviously resulted in resigning? And I've always said that Mariona Caldenti is an all-around player up front. She plays the wings, she plays the number 10, she's a striker. And when you see changes happens in the midfield, and then it becomes an exciting play, because then she controls the game. She's got so much experience, so many trophies she's won with Barcelona and Spain. So I think Adeval lost the plot in terms of how he changed his play, number 1, and how he changed his tactics, number 2, and of course how he fielded the players, the balance of the players on the pitch. So it was around the mistakes that he has made after last season. We had done so well, and the season before we've done so well, and now this season he has changed quite a bit, and I think to his downfall, it was inevitable for him to leave anytime soon. So obviously I called him out, and I questioned his tactics, and I questioned I never wanted him to leave though, but I questioned that. And now Renee's got 2 games behind her and 100% win rate thus far, at the 4-1 at home to Valerenga, and away to West Ham 2-0. So she only conceded 1 goal and scored 6. So but again, you can also see the signs of tactics that she's struggling with. So is she ready to really take a team? And take a sip of this quickly. Is she really ready to take a team? And if not, who are we going to bring in? So at the end of the day, we're going to have to bring in somebody to really replace to really replace Jonas Adderwald. Um, oh, there's the one guy. He is on. Oh, Warren, how's it, my man?
Hi, evening, everyone. Sorry, I just had issues signing in there. Anyway,
Is
continue.
it?
It's fine.
Sorry.
You get, no, continue. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the question that I've asked is that Jonas Adderfeld, and you told me earlier that you're not really so clued up with the ladies, but I've just started with the ladies games of late. We had a couple of howlers with the head coach Jonas Adderveld that has resigned 4 games into the season. Um, 4 official games into the season, really. And after he's left, his assistant took over, and she has 100% win rate now in the last 2 games. She's got 2 goals in a West Ham game away, and then she's got 4 goals in the Champions League. So, but there's still my thoughts around there still in terms of can she take a team to the next level, because she's still struggling with tactics as well. She's still struggling with how to balance the team. And for me, that is a bit of a concern. So, and that is basically around the women's game. They've got, um, um, I think it's international break now, and most of the ladies are with their countries. And after this, of course, we're going to look into who's going to come into to take on the ladies. Warren, did you hear about Jack Wilson also has left the club? He's left the under 19 squad.
Yeah, I heard about the news. Yeah, Norwich City. Eh?
Yeah, he's becoming an assistant to the manager of Norwich City, and I mean, there's so many controversial thoughts about that one. Maybe just to touch on it. It wasn't part of the topics, but just to get your view on it. I mean, a lot of people say that the club could have maybe done more to keep him. But I'm saying, well done for to spreading your wings to go out there. You know what I mean? Becoming an assistant to a championship team, that is something huge, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think he's been at Arsenal in the sort of coaching role for I don't know for how long. But he's been involved in the background for the last couple of years, and it's just the next natural step to go out and you know learn your trade and learn your profession, and maybe one day you can come back to Arsenal in a different capacity with some experience. So yeah, it's
For
normal. It's
sure.
nothing strange about it at all, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And then the replacement for him is the under 17 coach, which is the Adam Burchell. Apparently, he is also somebody that has been an assistant to somebody, but he's been with the club for long. So hopefully, he can obviously get in there and do something and continue where Jack has left off. Right, returning to the men's really. We had a couple of bad results over the last few weeks. Not the last few weeks, of the last 2 games at least. 2-0 at Bournemouth. I mean, you obviously had your show on Monday regarding what happened at Bournemouth. Your point of view, what happened in these 2 games? You can start with the Bournemouth game, obviously, and give us your take on what happened.
Um, yeah, gee whiz, where do you even start? There's so much to talk about and unpack. Yeah, look, I mean, for obviously, it's it was disappointing because I think we had a chance to go top of the table. Um, so I think the first point was the team selection was weird. The fact that he was going with three sort of box to box type players. You had Sterling on the right, and then you had I'm just trying to think, Trossard on the left, and then Havertz up front, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the team, and yeah, I mean the whole game sort of changed with the red card. Mind you, we didn't look actually fluid or anything good even before we went down to 11,
To
before
10,
we
yeah.
went down to 10 men. We just looked, the team just looks unbalanced, and I thought it was a bit of a bad move to actually, to play three Marino, Party, and Declan Rice. I thought it was one too many, and it told
Mm.
because the lack of creativity. That's you just got. I think a lesson that we all learned was that you can only play two of the three of them. You can't play all three of them. I think that's the lesson there. And then the next thing is really the big one is the red card. It's another poor mistake of judgment by Trossard, and then another poor judgment mistake by Saliba. That changed the game, obviously, and then. But what compounded is that, well, two things. One is the manager being too negative, I think, and then two, making the wrong substitutions because Sterling, even though he's not really doing the job at the moment, he was the only guy that had pace going
Yeah.
forward. So you could see in the parts in the first half and then again in the second half, there were little moments where we actually were working the ball okayish and we were getting ourselves a bit, in their half. But every time the ball, for example, was played up to Trossard or Havertz, for example, they had to they had to turn back and pass it back to us, which meant that we couldn't actually go beyond their defense simply
Mm.
because we just didn't have the pace. So every
Yeah,
time
yeah.
you are a little bit of you had a little bit of hope that, oh, okay, we one or two good passes and something may happen. The ball just went back into midfield because, like I said, Trossard and Havertz just did not. They just don't possess the turn of pace to take them beyond the defenders, and the game only really changed in our favor when people like Martinelli and Nwaneri came
Came
on.
on, yeah.
Suddenly, we giving them something to think about. We're making their centre backs take 6 steps further back. We can push a little bit higher. Our midfielders can get a little bit more involved. We can see a little bit more of the ball. It's a bit of an option for us. We can stretch their back for a little bit. Martinelli can stretch their right back and create a little bit of space, and then we lay a platform for things to come. So, but I just thought it was the
A little
manager had
bit
a
too
poor
late, yeah.
the manager had a poor time, and there's something I'm picking up with him, not just on Saturday's game, but in the series of games. I think
Yeah.
when he's getting nervous and anxious, you could see when the camera went, even, and we'll get to the check the game now. But when the camera goes on his face, you can actually see his facial expressions that this is someone that's deeply concerned. He's a bit nervous now, and I think
As,
like
as if he
human
doesn't
being,
know what to do next, yeah?
the thing is, when, like all human beings, when you get anxious and nervous, you revert to type. You go back to what you know best, and what he
Mm.
knows best is being not necessarily maybe negative, but defensive first, and then you'll try and. But you can't. When you're going down to. I mean, we've seen teams besides Arsenal over the years win a game with 10 men. It's not like I mean, it's Bournemouth we're talking about. And then earlier this season, Brighton as well. So I think the manager needs to come in for a little bit of review in terms of his negative approach. And I just think there's options available to him that he's not using. Yeah, so my overriding thought is that it was a massive, massive loss because I think, the next day, both Liverpool and City won. And now we're looking at a situation where the pressure's all on us now because if we don't, win, basically, I'm sure City will beat Southampton. They'll go 6 points clear. And if we don't beat Liverpool, they'll still be, say we draw them, and we'll be still, how much points are we behind them? 4 points, eh?
We are three behind City and four behind Liverpool.
So
Yeah,
before, you know what I mean? So we're really four behind Liverpool, and lo and behold, if Liverpool beat us, then we like seven, then we in
7 points.
major trouble. Major,
Yeah,
major trouble. So yeah, that is my overriding feeling of Saturday. It's just poor starting lineup, poor made worse by another, red card, ill discipline, compounded further by the wrong substitutes, and then compounded further by making the right substitutes, but way too late.
and by then the obvious thing is that you can't put a young guy like Nwaneri in and trying to change the game after just 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
So that to me is a lot of criticism on the manager's part. Yeah. Do you really think Saliba should have brought that guy down? I mean, if in my opinion, it's a red card. It's a stupid red card, and I'm blaming both these two players on the screen there.
yeah,
Trossard is giving a howler of a pass. I mean, it's a hospital pass. You know, when you played football, you
yeah.
you you send the guy to the hospital basically with that pass, and then. Saliba shouldn't bring that guy down. Even if he goes through to score, I mean, 11v11, we can still come back in that game.
Absolutely, you so right. I mean that you hit the nail on the head there. Look, I mean, there's an entire hour to get it right, to win the game, and I would have backed us to win the game. No, you spot on. I mean, hopefully Saliba learns from this because, we got to be fair here as well. I mean, we all love Saliba. I love Saliba, but he hasn't been as good as what he was last season.
Yes. Now,
He's
now
yeah,
I had this thought. I mean, this game was directly after the international break, yeah. And I don't know if you've seen in the media, and the media doesn't really help much. There's so many links, whether it's rumors or whether it's true or whatever it might be, that Real Madrid is after him, and then the Real Madrid defender Rudiger also says, "But I want him." So I mean, those things these guys see obviously,
yeah.
and mentally wise, that could also be because he didn't have a good game at all, Saliba.
Yeah. Now you actually got a good point there, I never
So
thought of
so
that.
is it something of a hangover whereby you've seen something in the media and you've seen that there's so much links, whether it's rumors. I mean, rumors could be anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's there, it's in your face, whether
Yeah.
it's true or not. That should say something to the players that, oh wow, a club like Real Madrid is after
Yeah.
me, and it messes with your mind completely. And coming from
Totally.
a international break into a tough game like Bournemouth, it's not like Bournemouth is an easy team to play against. And he had such a stinker of a game and panic when that player came past him, and then of course foul the player and a red card. I believe it is so true, the red card.
Mm.
And yeah, so it's unfortunate for him. But yeah, and Tuesday night's game, what do you think? How's it assembled? Long time no see, yeah?
Oh, the same. Yeah. Tuesday night. The Shakhtar game.
The Shakhtar game, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was also a okay. I mean, look, Shakhtar. Sort of they've got a real lack of quality in the final third. So our defense didn't really have to like. Okay, we'll get to that now, but. I mean, just staying on the Saliba topic, there was a moment where I think the Brazilian left-sided guy from I can't remember the name, he was running at us, and then, there was a moment there was Saliba. They showed the replay as well, because I was wondering who's the player that allowed him to run past, and it was Saliba again. It's almost
As
like he wasn't
Evan
sure.
Nielsen.
Yeah, yeah. And then Saliba wasn't sure if he must commit or stay, or he was caught in two minds. And then luckily nothing happened. But also little moments then, like, you start thinking, like, is there something here to be worried about? And if there is, like you said, a case of where, his head might be turned a little bit, or because of these rumors from Real Madrid, then then that's the manager's job. The manager needs to step in and deal with that, especially for a young guy like Saliba, and just speak to him and say, "Look, I mean, do you want me to take you out of the team while you calm down? What's going on here. You need to focus on your job at hand. You can't be thinking about, the
For sure.
managers. This is he's got to take over there. He's the older of the
Definitely.
two of them. He's the one with
Or
the
or even
experience.
the psychologists, the team of psychologists
Exactly.
behind them, those
So
type of people need to step
yeah.
in. Warren, just a question here
Oh
from
yeah. Yeah.
Assembled. What your take on the season so far? I mean, obviously we've talked about Bournemouth game, and of course we've touched on a couple of others there. But on the season in a whole, we've played 8 games in Premier League and 3 games in the Champions League. I think 1 or 2 games in the Carabao Cup, I think. So in total, that was what 11 games so far in the season. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, my take so far, it's been very average, to be honest with you. And I mean, I had arguments and debates when we beat Southampton and Leicester, and people were arguing with me, saying that yeah, but we did actually win this game, so I ain't complaining. But my argument is that at some point you're gonna, if you want to challenge and win league titles and Champions Leagues, and we're no longer fifth and sixth and seventh in the league. Your standards are higher, the bars are higher, and I was just disappointed in the performances. I don't think even in those 2 games, we didn't play well. When we beat Villa, we didn't play well. When we beat Wolves, we didn't play well. Um, so for me, so far, it's been the only decent, good performance, I think, has been the home game against PSG. And even that was more, it wasn't spectacular. It was more professional. We got the 2 goals and then we just closed shop and we just managed the
Yeah,
game. So for me, I mean, look, I mean, we're almost in November. And that's what I keep telling people. You've got to be on it from game number one. Game number one is as important as game number 17,
or
30, 31,
38
38.
even. Yeah,
It's the same thing. So I'm sorry. I mean, even when we had our fit with Odegaards and Sackers in there, it hasn't been impressive, and it's been greatly disappointing because I was, like many other people, expecting
yeah,
that we would kick on with this new signings and we're going to be
yeah.
bigger and better and stronger. And it's really been underwhelming. And listen
Mm.
here, even before the red card against Bournemouth, we were poor. The game against Shakhtar as well. I almost fell asleep at times. It was so boring. It was
True, eh?
the quality, the lack of quality was quite.
Was
What's
poor,
the
yeah.
word that I'm using? I would say disturbing, to be honest.
Sure.
Disturbing,
That's
especially if
harsh.
when you compare us to what we're up against,
Yeah, I
for
mean, Liverpool is
example,
flying.
City. And the thing with Liverpool, that with this new guy, yes, they got challenges, but they're gonna get better. They're not gonna get worse. Their manager he's only just started, so they still getting used to their manager. And you start seeing the type of games, like if you look at the performances from our players against some of their players, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is like a major gap here.
And that is what Assemble's saying in his opinion. We are not really showing any form and fluidity,
Yes, correct. Yeah.
and that has been to pick up. So at the end of the day, is in my opinion, I think, and maybe you can also answer the question, is that I think we have been too defensive since the start of the season. Yes, we've won 5 games out of the 8 Premier League. We've won 2 Champions League, and we've been winning the Carabao Cups. But at the end of the day, yes, it's our first loss since January. But at the end of the day, between now and our last season, we are too defensive. And even with Odegaard on the pitch for those first 2 or 3 games, there was not any fluid football that we've played. Saka was
Yeah.
probably the only player that was consistent, and of course, David Raya. And then, of course, Gabriel for me was more of an outstanding player this season so far than the rest of the defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we were too defensive, and we have not shown any quality even going forward. How's it, Michael? Welcome back. Um, so at the end of the day, is I think the manager's got a lot of criticism, and you say he needs to be reviewed on all these pointers that we've mentioned. Now, the question I want to ask is that why doesn't he look into a player like Lewis Scully, number one, and of course Ethan Nwaneri, because I believe, and this is what Pep does very well. Klopp did it as well, and obviously Wenger in his time, is that give those players the confidence. Wenger did it with Theo Walcott, and he did it with Cesc Fabregas.
Fabregas. Yeah.
He's given them that opportunity to show forth what they can do. Ethan coming on every time that he's come on in the games that he have played, he's done so much more than the players that was on the pitch. Why doesn't they get a look in? And I mean, even Lewis Scully. Look what Rico Williams doing in the City team. He's a young boy. Why can't we do that? Give the trust to the boys that are on the bench, and we need that the creativity.
Yeah, so maybe I can try and answer that. So it's something that I mentioned earlier, and it's something I picked up. I think the issue with Arteta, I don't. I think he's sort of running scared, to be honest with you. And when he's running scared, he's going to the players that he feels he can trust and believe in because he's had previous experiences with him, and that's Sterling and Jesus. But the problem is that Sterling and Jesus are not good enough, and that's
Yeah,
where the lack of fluidity is coming in, and he's not trusting certain players like you mentioned now, with Lewis Scully and Nwaneri. Teams reflect managers, and I think what I'm learning from Arteta is when he gets a bit anxious or a little bit maybe a little bit confused, he starts getting scared, and then when he gets scared, he goes to his what comes to him naturally, and that is defensive. Keeping in mind
yeah,
what type of player he was. Remember the type of player he was back in the day.
yeah.
I mean, he was more closer to the
To
defense
defense than
than
the
the front line. So
offense. Yeah,
it's in his football psyche to revert to his natural sort of state of mind. So I think he is hitting a bit of the panic button. I think that could explain why we're
yeah,
not seeing Nwaneri starting, for example, because quite frankly, Sterling and Jesus have did absolutely nothing to justify or deserve the starting place. I mean, I'm still not happy that we signed Sterling, to be honest. And I think it's a combination of things. I think it's the injuries. It's the ill discipline,
yeah.
the red cards which costed us points. Now we're trailing, and then there's another red card, and then there's another injury, and then he's turning to his supposed. You remember when he said,
People he
people asked
knows.
him
Yeah,
why? Yeah, thank you. There we go. When they asked him why did he go for Sterling, he said no, because I worked with him and I trust him, and but that doesn't always work. So
nah,
when when Wenger used to unearth an unknown gem, and the problem Wenger made was he thought that he could do that with every single player, and then he realized he can't
yeah.
do that. And I think the similar thing is happening with Arteta and Havertz, is that he's thinking I can discover and rediscover this guy called Kai Havertz and turn him into a star, and people will praise me because I showed my qualities here as a manager and as a coach. So I can do the same with Sterling, but it doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean you've done it once and I can just do it 20 times. It doesn't work like that.
For sure, for
And I
sure.
think he's so now so it's not just one problem when people say, "Oh, what's wrong?" Or it's not like one problem. It's like seven problems all coming together to put us in the position where we are. And the pressure, the thing is, the pressure is just going to build and build. So the answer to is he's got to be a bit well calm, and then he's going to have to be brave. And I think
Yeah.
this is where his team, his support team, like his assistant coaches, need to rally around him. They need to come together, just like the players are expected to. The coaching team must rally together now and go around the manager and say, you know what, just relax, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. We can still recover this. But he can't
Mm.
just go to the standard. Oh, I'm scared now, so I'm gonna play the safe thing now because that's not going to be good enough. So
Correct.
in so for me, immediately, like you said, Nwaneri needs to come into the team. That's one. And two, with everything that's being said, when you think about words like fluidity, we unbalanced, the team don't look right,
Creativity.
the lack of creativity, all those words you mentioned, Greenman. When I think of that, right, and this is what happened in last season as well, and the season before, I think the first player I think of when I'm hearing those words, like, okay, so who can we bring in into from the squad into the starting 11 to bring that calmness, that creativity, that experience, that balance? The first player I think of is Jorginho. So Jorginho must
Wow.
come into the team now. He's got
Wow.
to come into the team. Our best performances was when we had Jorginho, Declan Rice, and Odegaard. We remember Newcastle at home last season,
Yeah.
Chelsea at home. Those were our two best.
West Ham. Yeah.
It was our two best performers. We absolutely dominated. Teams couldn't live with us because you got the creativity of Odegaard running the show up front there, but he also got another guy behind him that can also just dictate the pace of it,
With the
however
range
which
of
way.
passing
And
and yeah,
the danger that automatically brings the wide players alive. But at the moment, you've got wide players that are maybe not good enough, and then you got players behind them that are not creative enough. So the one and the other are just not working together. So I think
yeah.
it's becoming a bit of a no-brainer. So at this moment, honestly, I would roll that dice and I'd play Nwaneri,
Mm.
and I'll definitely bring in Jorginho.
Georgina.
Definitely.
And Michael agrees with you. He says Michael says good point. Jorginho probably a better player than Marino. And one thing that sorry, this one, yeah. Uh, it's almost similar to what you've now said is that somehow the squad is weaker and we've brought players who were improvements apparently, like the likes of um, Sterling and Mourinho. Okay, obviously I haven't seen much of Mourinho
Yeah,
to be able to to say really.
yeah,
I mean the game against Bournemouth, like you said earlier on, it wasn't the game for him to be with Partey and with Rice,
yeah,
either
yeah,
Rice and him and Trossard, or either Partey and him and Trossard to see
yeah,
what the capabilities are. And I think the game against Preston will probably be a more balanced game where he can perform more. And Michael is also saying that he believes that Sterling should have played more. I'm not sure, Michael, if the games that we've played really sort of merited more game time for him. I don't know how you feel, Warren, but I don't think we had games or more games for Sterling to come in and do something that we can do. Like the Bournemouth game, yes.
yeah.
And maybe the game that we've played against Shakhtar, but there was still so much inconsistencies to show that he is the guy that need more game time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, Michael, I'm
Um,
not sure if I yeah sorry, go
oh,
for
okay.
it.
Yeah,
Go for
no,
it. Go for
just
it.
yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, I mean, so definitely the Bournemouth game, I would have kept him on there because at that point in time, he was
Yeah, that
maybe
game
the
he was the
only
only one that
one
could
with
have maybe
pace. Yeah,
go
yeah.
in behind. Yeah,
But I think the problem we got is like with the Shakhtar game, right? I mean, it's like between Jesus and Sterling, it's a bit of a for me, it's like
it's
a bit
almost
of
the
a
same
toss.
thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just the same thing, but it's the same poor thing. They're both poor at the moment, so it's like toss a coin. You know what I mean? It's like and therefore, I would say go back to what you said, Glenn. I would start Nwaneri then. If they
Yeah.
not both not giving me anything, I'm sorry, and especially
And,
look, it's a
and trust
different
the
story.
creativity. Trust
It's
the creativity you have on the bench.
it's a
Like
different
what
story
Neri
if
is with
we
the yeah.
it's a different story if we got our other starting players in the team, Odegaards and you got
Saka.
Party there, and then you could maybe squeeze in one of those two. But when you already start coming down to the bare bones, they're not your go-to players. So it's not like they inform and you can trust them now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
therefore, it just makes even more sense now to actually it's worth rolling the dice and putting one area on. Honestly,
Because I mean, if you look at the weekend game, we're gonna get there. This weekend's game, Slot doesn't know what to expect on Sunday, considering we've got so many players out. So that's one good thing that he can't prepare well for. So at the end of the day, is what is he going to prepare for? Because we ourselves don't know who's going to play. Um,
the
so at the
Liverpool
end of the
game.
day, yeah, the Liverpool game. So much more to confuse the whole Liverpool mindset is who we gonna field on the day and what is Arteta? Because in his last post-match interview, he said that we're going to be flying on Sunday, and to me, that I hope is not something that can bite him in the ass. So, and
Yeah,
yes, the sample says the difference with Wenger is he brought players in who you didn't know, and Arteta is bringing in players that we know aren't good enough. That's in his opinion, which is fair. I
it
mean,
is.
Sterling, he at his latter stage at City, obviously was dead in the water. Um, Kai Havertz for me is probably the best signing from a Chelsea perspective. Or maybe Jorginho as well.
Yeah,
So Kai Havertz, for everybody, I was one of those people that said, I don't want Kai Havertz. I'm not on that wagon. And so
yeah,
far, he's turned my head a bit. So he's changed, and I put up my hand because of what I said in the past. That he's changed quite a bit of my thinking. So
yeah,
and it's so much fair to that comment from the assemble. And then Michael made a statement early on. Sterling is not suited for 10-man game. However, Michael, who else did we have on the pitch that could go behind the players? Martinelli came on. He didn't do much, but he tried it. But you have Sterling one on that right back or on that left back from them. Could have maybe fouled him and you know what, got something out of it.
yeah. The only reason you'd want Sterling there is just purely for his pace. I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, the only other person we had there was one Neri. I mean, and that was about it. Yeah,
And again, you know what? It's not something that we want to look at, and it's going back to what Michael is saying is the
yeah.
summer
This is
window.
a good point. This is a very good point.
We've let Vieira go because maybe you could have come out of his cell and do something creative. And of course, our best player in a couple of seasons ago, Emil Smith Rowe, and he is flying at Fulham.
Yeah,
Um, I think
yeah. That
those are
was
the
another.
mistakes.
That's another criticism I'll give towards the manager. I wasn't happy when we
Maybe
sold.
not just the manager. You know who made the decision. Is it really the manager or is it the club? Because it's 35 million. Well,
Um,
it's money for Jam. So is it
well,
really the manager or is it the
look.
club
I
that
mean,
wanted the money?
he's part of that decision-making team. He's at the core of it. And that's
Obviously, yeah.
the understanding. They got like a what they call a recruitment team, for example, like him and Edu and someone else is in there. There's a
But
couple
now
of big. So
here's the
he's
howler
certainly
of,
in that.
of here's
Yeah.
the howler of that mistake, and it stinks that both creative players, one left-footed and one right-footed, has left the club this
Without being
season,
replaced there. That's the
but
thing.
out being replaced. And then
So why?
you bring in Nwaneri to replace one of them, but you're not using him. So
Yeah, no,
that doesn't make
that
sense
is
at
poor.
all.
Yeah, that doesn't. And that's why I was against the Smith Rowe letting him go, because I mean, effectively, what did you do? You brought in a Sterling then, which is it just doesn't add up to me. Like, why would you? I mean, and us, you know what? The reason why I also say that, because if the argument is okay, sorry Smith Rowe, you're not going to get enough game time. I said no, he will get game time,
There's
because
plenty games, Lauren.
it's,
There's a
it's
lot of
people get
games.
injuries, people get suspensions, and then how ironic is that? That look at all the
Exactly.
suspensions and injuries. I mean,
Two of
then
our best creative players.
Trossard was complaining crying almost in the Villa game. Look at all the games he's playing now. So you know
Mm.
what I mean. The whole argument about not enough games wasn't valid for me. And my thing is, and I'll be very honest with you, even till today, I would still play Smith Rowe ahead of Martinelli, because I think he's a better footballer than Martinelli. I don't. For me, Martinelli is at best a backup player to whoever it is that's going to be our eventual
That
first
that
starter.
that there, I'm gonna slightly disagree with you because Smith Rowe is not a winger. Smith Rowe
You,
is a out and out 10. For me, he's an out and out 10,
well,
and
look,
I
I mean,
think
he made his career for us in the wing. I'm just
in a wing, yeah.
he literally played there. I mean,
But
he can,
if you look
but
at
he
it,
can play. But that's the
yeah,
point, Glenn. When he can play both. So like now,
for
like
sure.
Michael, I think said we let Vieira go, and we sold Smith Rowe
And
because our
Smith Rowe,
Odegaard
yeah,
is out, and this one. He could have covered both those areas. Smith Rowe could have been playing in both
exactly,
those positions.
correct. So
And
this is a
also,
question.
someone that knows the club
Yeah,
is there ready.
he
Oh,
grew
sorry, go.
up there. He grew up in the club, so
Yeah.
for sure, he was the best opportunity for him now to come in and shine like a bloody diamond. So Assembled is asking us now, who are Arsenal's game changers? This is a key. We make the substitutions and nothing changes. So,
Well, problem number one is, who are Arsenal's game changers? The first game changer I think of is Trossard, but he's starting the games now because we don't have anyone else, because we just let Vieira go. So you see the domino effect, because you made that error. So now it's one
yeah,
problem, second problem, third problem. Trossard to me is the like one of the first game changers I think of. The other one is the guy we just keep talking about, is Nwaneri, because he comes
Nwaneri,
on and he brings the feel of unpredictability,
unpredictability, yeah.
and he's got the talent and skill, and he's brave. You'll take the blame on,
And
and
he's hungry. I mean, you could see when he came on. I think it was against, I don't know who it was, and he immediately take a shot with his first touch.
yeah,
I can't remember against who it was, but
so,
and then of course Michael says that Jorginho in your like
yeah,
he's agreeing
exactly,
with
yeah,
you
yeah,
completely.
yeah.
So yeah, I think, and
So
then of
game
course
changes,
yeah,
Glenn. So three issues there. Problem number one is Trossard is like the main game changer up front, but he's starting for us now. Problem number two is we do have Nwaneri there, but the manager doesn't trust him. Problem number three is the players that the managers are trusting, Jesus and
has
Sterling,
not changed the game.
on good enough. Never mind changing, they just not good enough. That's the problem.
Mm. And then, of course, Michael, we spoke earlier on is that we are very defensive because our season started defensive. We have so much defenders, but not so much available for.
For this weekend, yeah.
So yeah, look, it's fortunately for us that Saliba's only banned for the one game, and so that is a plus. Really, he's back for the Preston, the
Castle game, yeah.
Chelsea and the Newcastle games. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a good thing. So uh,
I've
then,
got a question. Yeah,
yeah,
hopefully we can get to this later, or I don't know. But I'm quite interested to hear people's thoughts on who would be our back four on Sunday.
I'll back for and okay. Now that you've mentioned it, let's do this quickly. So obviously we putting Raya in there, right?
Yeah,
And then we've got sorry, Gabriel. that is for sure.
Yeah,
Gabriel. Then we've got Benny. If
yeah.
he's
He
deemed
should
fit,
be available.
he
I think
should be
he
available. But
should be
if
fine. Yeah.
and then we are stuck. So do
What's
you
the news on? Sorry, what's the news on Timber?
the Timber and Saka, they have trained. They will obviously be monitored. They at full training today. They will be monitored tomorrow and Saturday after training. Then the manager will make a decision based on that. So
Okay.
then we have these two left-footed players which can play left back, and because Zinchenko has been on the bench twice now against Bournemouth, and he was on the bench
Oh,
on Tuesday night. So he is not match fit, but I would not play him because of the
oh no,
Salah. So
no,
I'm gonna take
no, no,
Zinchenko off there because he ain't getting a game from the
no,
start.
no.
So you're sitting with Kiwi, or do you playing him there or you playing him here?
You know what, eh?
It all
Keeping
depends on this guy, isn't it?
is that
That's Timber.
Timber? Yeah,
So
I would
it
have
all depends
Timber.
on him.
Yeah, I would have Timber on like next to Gabriel. I don't. Can I just say this, Glenn? I just think it's an absolute disaster, and I feel so bad for Thomas Partey because every time this happens to him, just when he's playing well, then the manager must
Take
go
him to the
put
right
him.
back,
No, man, he was by far our best
our
player
best
on
player,
Saturday and again
and
on
on Tuesday.
Tuesday. And I was thinking, wow, I mean, this guy's back. We need against Liverpool. That guy must be in midfield. Absolutely must. Sorry, coming back to the left back, and I tell you who I'd play left back. Keep
Yeah,
to just to show you that I'm being consistent here and not being a hypocrite here. I'd play that youngster, that Louis Scully.
Lewis
I would
Kelly.
genuinely play him, and I'll trust him. I'll say, listen here, go and do us proud, this son. Go and do it. I would put
That is,
Louis Scully in there
I
because
don't
people.
have.
Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. We can just pretend he's there. But people argue, but you can't put the teenager in there. But what is the opposite of it? You got Zinchenko that's not good enough. One,
Yeah,
two, KVO has been rotten so far this season. Who's not a left back? He's actually a left-sided centre back. So I wouldn't put him there as well. I would stay true to form and be consistent, and I would just back my youngster. I would put him
yeah.
in there and say, go and do yourself proud, do your mother proud, and go play left back. And we believe in you.
Okay.
Honestly, I would
I'm
trust
gonna
him.
put him there.
If it came
Okay. I'm
down to it, Glenwin, if it came
yeah,
down to that options, honest to
yeah.
goodness, I would play Lewis Scully.
Okay, let's call this Warren's 11. If they fit, obviously.
Yeah.
And then who are you gonna put in the center? There is
So,
Rice, Partey,
so
Jorginho.
can I tell you my formation? You're gonna this is
Yeah,
just to
I'll put it.
be different and to be consistent and balanced and a bit more positive, to have some creativity in there. I'm gonna go 4-1-4-1. That's my
Okay.
formation.
So
The
who's your
one
one?
in front of the back for Jorginho.
I thought
He's
as
gonna
much.
come in there.
I'll put
See,
him there.
and then I got like a almost like a flat four type of thing. So the two in front of Jorginho, okay, is Declan Rice and Thomas Partey. Just to make sure that we got legs and strength in there. We've got players playing in their proper positions. They're not playing in positions that's not familiar. They can dominate that midfield, and they can also
Yeah,
protect Jorginho as well. So if we don't have the ball, Jorginho's got players on both sides of him to have the legs to cover the grass.
for sure.
So that's and then so yeah, okay. Then the other two on the flanks. Oh, am I assuming that Saka won't be fit? Are we going to assume that he's not there? Is that right?
Um, yeah, we're gonna assume Saka is not there.
Okay. Then I'm
Just
going. All
just
right.
just
Yeah.
hold on quickly. Let me just get How's it, Mr. Bikes? Yeah, are you
How
well?
are we? Yeah, I'm good,
Yeah,
good.
you good, good, good. Yeah, we just setting out Warren's 11. Yeah, Warren, you can continue.
Okay, so are we going? Andy, are we going with the assumption that Saka's not there?
Yeah, for sure, because
Okay, all
we
right.
don't want to put him there because we don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay, so then I go Martinelli on the left, and then I put Nwaneri on the right, and I'm gonna go Havertz up front. That's my team.
Okay, so this is your team. Oh, it's there.
So if you look at it, if you look at the spine of the team, Havertz, Partey, Rice, Jorginho, Gabriel, Raya. The spine of the team is there, and you build a
Yeah,
team around that.
yeah. So in your opinion, and Clatters, how do you pronounce Clatters? Clatters.
Thank you. Just call me Yano.
Okay.
I think Yano is far
Yeah,
better.
no, okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna get to you now. In your opinion, Warren,
Yeah.
this team can beat Liverpool.
So I think with this team, because remember the words we were using earlier, it's unbalanced, no
No
creativity.
creativity.
So I think what you get with this is you get creativity. I've got Nwaneri there. I've got Jorginho there. I've got
Yeah,
strength in midfield with Declan Rice and our best
and
player at the moment
Partey.
in Thomas Partey, who can make a pass, by the way.
Yeah,
We can compete in midfield. We still have our striker playing as a striker. Martinelli's at the moment Martinelli's best
he's
attribute
showing.
isn't
He's
is
showing
actually not is
something.
actually not going forward. It's coming back. So he can protect and help out Lewis Kelly. Martinelli's
Yeah,
best asset at the moment is actually his defensive work, not going forward. So that will
yeah,
help. But that's why I put Lewis Kelly in because I knew Martinelli is there to protect him. And then, like I
yeah.
said, on the right hand side, you then got the unpredictability of Nwaneri. Look, I mean, let me put it to you this way: if it came down to Jesus, Sterling, or Nwaneri in terms of creativity, then I'm definitely taking Nwaneri. And and I'm not going to be sort of, and this is where the bravery factor comes in. You got to sometimes the big managers in those moments. We want our manager to be brave as well. He wasn't brave against Brighton, he wasn't brave against Bournemouth. We were down to 10 men and we still could have won that game. And that costed us. So I think he needs to be brave, yeah. And I think what you do here is you can see what I'm doing. I'm surrounding Nwaneri with senior players around him. The player behind him is Ben White. The player next to him is Thomas Partey. His strikers have it, so he's got senior players around him. So I'm not like
The
putting him
same. The
there with
same with Scully because
exactly,
he's got
exactly.
this the Gabriel, the Rice, and the Martinelli
Thank you.
with him.
Thank you. So you
So
protect it. You don't just throw them. Yeah.
that's a good thing. So Janis, welcome, man. First time here for you. Let me just read a couple of things here. Is that the gamble here, Michael says, is that Ben White can go in the middle because I think Zinchenko could do the job at right back and
Oh my.
Kivio at left back. Wow. I've never seen Zinchenko at right back. And I don't think you want to make that change,
Oh my
especially for a guy
goodness
that
me.
didn't play much.
Is this a TV
Um,
game or is this a TV game we're talking about or a real life film? I mean, what do we? The
in
guy
my
can't even.
opinion, Assemble is saying that my opinion that the error this manager has made was selling Martinez. We've invested in keepers when other positions were priority. It's no snowball. Okay, that's fair.
Mm, good point.
And as long as Partey doesn't go at right back, and that's exactly what you said earlier on, Warren.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then, okay, yeah, he's agreeing with the notion of assembled. And why don't they play Martinelli down the right? That's also an option.
But who's gonna play on the left though? That's the problem. That are
I
you gonna
think
put
I, th-
Trossard
I,
there
th-
or I mean I don't know, man.
I think
Trossard's been
Sterling
poor.
at his peak, he's better on the left when he played for Liverpool. And I think nobody's tried him on the left really, to be fair. So, yeah, Michael is just laughing at you.
I
All
think we
right,
all gonna have
Janis,
heart attacks. Yeah.
Yes.
you've missed quite a bit actually, but next time, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get you up sooner. So tell
Yeah.
me,
Just.
this 11 that Warren has set
Mm,
out for us, would
mm.
you somewhat agree to a certain extent that we can do something against Liverpool with this defensively and offensively?
Um, I think it's a great lineup because you've got experience there at the back, like Skelly. Skelly is quite good, the 1v1 that I saw in preseason and certain games. And like on the left, you got Martinelli and Declan Rice that can help him out when he's struggling or against Salah.
Mm, mm,
Um, that and the control in the midfield with Jorginho there, and Partey, as you know, Partey has been our best midfielder for me this couple
yeah,
of games. Even yeah, and I like the Nwaneri one on the right. It's Nwaneri, right? Nah? Yeah.
yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Um, he's the kid has to play. I don't know why Arteta's not playing the kid, and he will be a problem to for Robertson or Van Dijk because he's very tricky. He's versatile, so I think it's a
Mm,
good lineup. They say no, and on the left as well, Martinelli up against Alexander Arnold. You know, in the past he used to give Arnold a lot of headaches. It'll
yeah,
be the
he
same
likes
again.
playing against Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good lineup. We can do something, and it's a very controlled midfield. I think we can beat them in midfield because they don't have a actual number six that you can say that it's natural. Because Gravenberch is more of a box to box midfielder for me. I think.
Yeah. My
Um,
concern and a question to both of you is that, again, we've got three defensive minded midfielders. And Warren, you've mentioned something earlier with Marino, Rice, and Partey in
Yeah.
there. So we've got Jorginho, Rice, and Partey in there. So with regards to if Jones should play, and he had a beautiful game against Chelsea, not just the goal that he scored and the penalty that he created, but the fact that he was all over the pitch. The legs with Jorginho and Partey, and also with Gravenberg becoming one of their best players in that squad. Those guys got legs. They're young, and we've got the experience for sure. But are we not putting too much pressure on the legs of these players, especially Jorginho and Partey for sure?
Yeah. So, okay. First, number one. I mean, that's the best that we've got in midfield. I mean, so if you're gonna swap them with anyone else, it'll just get worse. And number two, I think in terms of physicality, I think with Partey and Rice, he will actually dominate it because I don't see
mm,
Curtis Jones or Gravenberg knocking Thomas Partey off the ball
Mm,
or Declan Rice. And Declan Rice has got the feet to, and Thomas Partey as well to cover the
mm,
cross. And remember what I said earlier with Jorginho, with our best, the best performances we had last season was actually with Jorginho in the team. And what he does is maybe not physically or with legs, but his speed of thought and his quality of passing. So what he done against Chelsea and Newcastle last year, before players like what's his name, the Newcastle guy, the midfielder, Guimaraes, what's his name?
yeah,
yeah,
Guimaraes, yeah.
Guimaraes, yeah.
Guimaraes, yeah. By the time the player even gets close to Jorginho, the ball's gone already. And so what quickly starts to happen is because now you have a ball playing midfielder at the base of it, Jorginho, you start passing the ball around them and they start chasing
Mm,
shadows and they start running out of energy before you know it. So it's
Mm-mm.
not
That's a
just
fair
yeah,
about
point.
the legs
this,
and the physicality. That's part of it, but with that, importantly, you got someone with the brain that can not only think of the pass and see the pass, but execute it as well. So Jorginho, he can make a long pass into those channels, into a Nwaneri and into a
mm,
Martinelli where you can put them face to face with their two fullbacks.
Yeah.
mm, yeah.
Um, sorry, I know you can go, and after you, we can maybe just deliberate on this point, yeah. But you can continue with that question that I asked.
Um, Yeah, but I think like Liverpool also plays. I don't know. They play a high line for me, and like I look at this team, they've got two excellent passes there with Thomas Partey and Jorginho.
Virginia.
As you know, Martinelli is a in running behind type of a winger. That's what we need from him. So Thomas Partey will find him when we get possession because we know Liverpool will have possession. But if you're gonna counter with him there, Martinelli running there, and Thomas Partey playing as a advanced box to box or something, we
Yeah,
could expose them. We could expose them because, like I said, Gravenberch is not a six, but he has legs. And with McAllister, I'm presuming he'll go with McAllister or Jones, but I think he will go with experience with what's his name, McAllister
McAllister
and
and Gravenberg.
McAllister and Gravenberch. I think they will play a double pivot. I think they will
Mm,
try to catch us on a counter attack. So I think this is a very solid lineup that you put in there. And
and
Havertz, you must know Havertz too. Against Konate, Konate always has a problem with Havertz.
mm,
So these movement might cause them problems. And his movement to run, um, drag the defenders out, and Martinelli will run in. So I think it will cause problems to these guys. They're not what people think they are. They are a good team in terms of organization, but
yeah,
we have individuals to cause them problems.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
the other
also
thing,
yeah,
sorry, just one more last comment on, and I've noticed this about Liverpool and Arno Slot and the type of football that they're playing. And this is why I also wanted Jorginho in there. So I don't know if you saw the Liverpool Chelsea game last week Sunday. You
yes,
guys saw that? So you'll notice that, and even the commentators made mention of it. The new sort of Liverpool, um, they almost, so what they did was they allowed Chelsea, the Chelsea goalkeeper, to pass the to throw the ball out, to pass the ball out to say Chelsea's centre back or
mm,
Chelsea's holding midfielder who was Concedo, sorry. So Liverpool
Yeah,
actually, unlike with Klopp, they would be on you like white on rice. But with Slot, he's actually allowing. He's saying, no, we're going to retreat a bit into
we
our
sit
shape,
back.
and we will allow your keeper to pass the ball into your holding midfielder. And we'll just maintain us. I mean, we will wait until
Yeah,
you
but
come to us.
yeah,
So
well,
what
mm,
it means is, so to answer your concern earlier about Jorginho and but people will make, you will actually have time and space to actually look up and receive the ball from the centre back or the goalkeeper
yeah,
and start spreading those passes around. So
yeah. Good
yeah,
point.
we got a bit of luxury there with that, with
Good point.
considering the new, well, sorry, the way Liverpool are playing
Liverpool
now.
play, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, they are the best defensive team currently in the Premier League. Only at
exactly, yeah,
I think two
exactly,
goals.
exactly.
So also with this team and with possession, I think this Boyki obviously will get in there, and then that will give them opportunity to move up. So and that is I think where he is very pivotal in playing in the left back there, and I think the manager really has to look at this, and I'm hoping for at least, if not all of those players, at least um, Nwaneri, at least. Um,
Yeah.
let's
You know,
deliberate quickly. Yeah, so
no, it's fine, it's fine.
go for it.
No, no, I was just laughing now because I think we all want this, but I think we all know that he's not going. He's going to play Jesus or Sterling. He just, you just know what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
and that's the
Unfortunately,
stubbornness, man. Let's deliberate Michael's point quickly, and it says Liverpool's right side is dangerous with Salah and Trent. I'm gonna give you my opinion. If Martinelli keeps Trent in that right back, he's not coming past.
yeah.
Which isolates Salah and whoever left back we have. But then if Soboslai is playing or Gravenberg will then come and support Salah. whereby our Rice is very pivotal in that. And I think you make a very good point, Michael. But I think with the experience that Trent has or had in the past with Martinelli, he's been pinned into that right back. There's very seldom that he could pass, because if Martinelli kisses that left-sided touch line, Trent hardly comes past him. So you guys can continue with your point of view on this point. Jano,
Um.
you can go.
Oh yeah.
Is it about the right side
The
of
the right hand side for Liverpool, yeah. So he says that Liverpool's right hand side is dangerous with Salah and Trent. So what do we do to prevent that from happening?
but like Rice is on the left, so I don't think we have a problem there with them. If we allow Trent to play and find those passes
Those passes, yeah.
like yeah. But I think Rice and Martinelli would deal with him. O- they will. I think Arteta's plan would be to nullify that dangerous side.
That right hand
So
side.
I don't think we have a problem there because I think when we I think he's like a playmaker. What is this? Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's like a playmaker. So if we can
Mm.
stop him from playing and inverting and passing,
And
we'll have, we don't have a problem with them. So that is, I like this
yeah,
team. I really like this team. I didn't think that. I didn't think of such a team. I was thinking like they will play Tumbo on the left just to prevent the Salah. But I think Skelly is a good one, and I think I'm just confident with this game. But this is a very good team. Who put this team?
Warren. We call it Warren's team.
Oh, this is a very good team. Like man, this is a good tactical team. This is very controlled. It has pace. It has
And it's
like
balanced. There's a lot
it's
of
balanced.
balance there. Yeah.
It's balanced. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with it.
Warren, and your take on Michael's point there before it's almost time for us to
Uh,
move on.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think with and that's why I would go with Party and Declan Rice because they would sort of
Support their
squeeze.
wings
Well, number one, squeeze the play so that it's not so easy to get Salah one on one with Scully, and then of course you still have someone, and that's why Martinelli's in there because he would put so much pressure on Trent so that he
on
wouldn't
Trent.
have
Exactly my
time to
point.
make
Yeah.
that pass here. So it's almost before you even get to the Salah problem, you cut it off at its source.
At the
Uh, yeah.
yeah
What about
at the head.
can I
Yeah.
ask
And that's
something?
a good point. So I think Michael, yeah, go for it. Yeah,
What
you
about
can go.
the left side of Liverpool? Because I think
Liverpool.
you'll go with Diaz. I think just for the pace and
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I think
Jota is in a way available. So if Diaz is not playing for the last two games, I think it was what's his face, number 18, that Dutch guy. What's his name?
Gakpo.
Gakpo.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
I
yeah.
think Gakpo he played the last two games in a row. But continue. Sorry,
Yeah, I think like it's Ben White. It's Ben White that Ben White on
that's
the right.
Ben White. Yeah,
It's Ben White. But I don't have a problem. But I just think like when Diaz is on the ball, he's rapid. So if Ben White is fit,
yeah.
is you guys think Ben White is fit?
He's not 100% fit.
That's the problem that I have because I think Diaz
Yeah.
is an excellent winger because he's tricky and that. So Nwaneri will have a lot of defensive responsibility helping him out there. But we have Partey
Mm,
there
that is
to
exactly what
cover that.
Warren has put Partey in there. Correct. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that,
so
yeah.
you can go, Warren.
Oh yeah. Now, yeah. Just to respond also to I think Michael's question earlier in the chat there, I think the bigger concern is actually Liverpool's left side with Robertson and Diaz, or maybe Capco plays, or whichever one. I think we're okay
Yeah.
on
On
like
that side.
yeah, with Martinelli, and I think that's the lesser of the two problems. I think the bigger one will be Ben
On the
White,
other
like
side.
Jan is saying that he's not
So, so,
fully
so
fit
much
and
more to your, so much more to your point earlier on, Warren, is to obviously give Nwaneri that opportunity to run at Robertson And
Yeah,
Mm,
if they're playing McAllister is bound to give you a yellow card, even a red
yeah,
card,
yes,
to foul that player
yeah,
because
mm,
he's got a
yeah,
foul in him. And
yes,
the same for
yeah,
Robertson and possibly Van Dijk because if Waneri run against Van Dijk, he has got to turn fast and do something. And
yeah,
that is so important why the manager has to put him in there. It
yeah.
is
You need
so so important.
you need someone
yeah,
with some how do you say trickiness about him to force the opposition to make a late tackle, for example,
Yeah,
and just
and not
ruffle their
just
feathers a bit.
that, the unpredictability you've mentioned early on,
Yeah,
he brings that. Yes, the two of them are very experienced players, and they would want to try and force their power down on him by fouling
yeah,
him there,
yeah,
But if he continues that, the fouling can only go for one or two times. After
yeah.
that, they're gonna get carded for.
And the
So
other thing
it's
is that the more you foul us, the more. And remember, when Nwaneri is playing, if you start fouling him, you're giving us free kicks in dangerous positions.
correct, whereby even him can take that those.
Exactly, exactly.
I mean, if I don't know if you've seen the under 21 England game. Or this youngster is so good. He is
it's
so
fantastic.
good.
It's good. This
Do you
kid
see the
is,
comment about the assembled? Oh, I hope that doesn't happen.
What
Oh
this
my word.
Arteta could easily play the versatile Havertz. That one,
Oh my goodness me. I hope
yeah,
that
that
isn't
to
true.
me it is. I'd rather play Trossard up front instead of
Yeah,
Jesus if that
c-
happens.
correct. Thank you. Well said. That's a good point.
So, and this is
yeah, I mean,
Semble's
like,
other point.
it's,
Or the
Oh
other
my
option would
word.
be to play Zinni at 10.
Oh my goodness
As
me.
the statistics prove, he is a top three completed passer at Arsenal plus midfield. You know
Oh.
what, Assemble? Do you want me to really switch off this TV now? But fair point. That's your
uh,
opinion. It could happen. You know what? This with this manager, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
you
You
don't
don't
know,
know
but
what to expect.
Yeah.
So we going for that that is a good team. Warren, well done. That's a very good team. That is a
Thanks.
very good team. I
it's a
I
fantastic
probably would
team.
have had Scully and what's her name in there, but I would not have thought of Jorginho. I probably would have had Rice, Partey, and Trossard. But this midfield is very controlled, as both of you alluded to, and it is so controlled and balanced. No, no, well done, Warren. Well done.
That
Thank you.
that midfield, what I like about that
Hopefully,
midfield, what I
Yeah.
like
hopefully
about
the
that midfield is
manager.
that yeah,
Sorry,
this
Jan.
midfield. I'm saying this midfield, like it can frustrate Liverpool. Like they will get frustrated if we like one up and we control a game with Jorginho and Partey as like they can do. They would want to commit and try to get the ball from us. That is when
Mm,
Nwaneri and Martinelli would come in there and expose that fullbacks of Liverpool and
Yeah.
yeah, I think man, this is a fantastic team, man. I'm
it is.
I just hope that Arteta can fill this
Yeah.
team because
That's the.
Nwaneri can play two,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Nwaneri can play two positions. I mean, like the kid is a
Yeah.
fantastic talent. He
What?
can
What
cut
also?
in and
eh,
yeah.
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
But Warren,
Um,
seeing that you are
yeah.
the chairman for the Cape Town fans, but don't you have access to them?
Uh, Unfortunately, not to the manager. Yeah. I can almost bet you. I can almost bet you that he will play Sterling or Jesus. I can almost
Yeah,
bet you
man.
that. Yeah.
Look,
Uh,
like I said earlier on, Janu, I don't know you weren't, and I don't know if you heard the post-match interview of Arteta Tuesday, is that we're gonna fly on Sunday. I promise you that. Um, to me, that is a real game changer if he doesn't fly on Sunday.
Mhm,
mm,
Hopefully, he won't fly out by the door, though.
mhm.
I think
The,
Mikhail is having one of the most challenging period of his managerial career because for the past 2 seasons we have been Aragard and Saka have been helping him out and winning games, and this season is more
Yeah,
like he's been challenged like in in his young managerial career that what could he do without those two? Because we know Saka and Odegaard is one of the reason how we play is because of them. How he's built his team around them.
yeah.
So he has to be technically good for this game because Arne Slot is a good tactician. So what he does on Sunday would determine what good manager is. If he whatever team he chooses, um,
It
it will
has to
show.
make
It will show
sense,
on
Yano,
Sunday.
doesn't it?
It has to make
It
sense,
has
yeah.
it
It has
has
to
to
make
make
sense
sense.
because
And
you know the Arsenal fans, you know the Arsenal fans when they start going with when they see something not going on, they will come for you.
yeah,
They come for
man.
you.
And
So
I'm hoping there's gonna be a very, very good Michael or assembled. I'm not sure if you guys are in London. If any one of you are going to the game, I'm hoping for a very good atmosphere at that stadium. That is the
it was
one
flat,
thing that
yeah.
will help. That is the one thing that will help us. And I'm coming back to this assembled question is that who is the game changer? You obviously mentioned it early on, Warren, is in your midfield that you've put out there. And of course, our right winger at this stage is Nwaneri and it's Jorginho. Those are most creative players in terms of what we have currently, in your opinion. Are those players really changing the game, affecting this game in the positive way as we thought it would?
Like I said, that's why I didn't start with Trossard. That's why I would have him on the bench so that he can, to answer the symbols commentary, so that he can be the game changer coming off the bench if we're chasing
Mm,
a goal in the second half. We can maybe
mm,
take like either Maneri or Martinelli off, or maybe even in midfield somewhere. And then Trossard is that impact player, which I think so far in his Arsenal career has been his most
mm,
successful in terms of coming off on the bench. So you got someone that can actually come off the bench to add
mm,
something or change the game up.
Okay, for sure. Your side, Yano, who do you think is that changer?
I think it's Martinelli. I think it's Martinelli.
Okay.
I think Martinelli would cause
What
them
he's shown
problems.
you the last couple of games, especially on Tuesday night.
He's starting to be the Martinelli of 2 seasons ago, even though he was struggling, being direct and taking players on and crossing the ball and having that confidence. He's a good player, it's just that sometimes he makes it in a final third is indecisive, or is it because he plays with his head down or something? That's what people mention too, but he is a game changer for me. I think he can unlock this Liverpool defense. He did that last season. He did it last season when he forced Van Dijk into an error and we scored that second goal. He has a tendency to show up in such games. So I think Martinelli for me.
Okay. Warren, I know you have to go, but let's just do the predictions quickly before you go, and then we can maybe do our thing. Arsenal, Liverpool, Yano,
Yes.
prediction
Um, I'm gonna say 2-1 to Arsenal.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay. 2-1. Warren.
If he goes with that team that I picked, I think we can. I would go with a 1-0 win. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals. I think it'll be 1-0 to us.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm inclined to obviously to agree with you because of late we have not scored more than really 2 goals bar the Bolton game. Yeah, I think 1-0 probably would be a good game. Hopefully, if we have 10 men on the field.
Uh,
Hopefully, if we have 10 men on the field. Yeah, I think that probably is what it is. I'm hoping for sure that we can have a good game on Sunday. Just don't lose the bloody game, man.
Mm.
Just don't
You
lose the
can't
game.
lose. It's
I think
mm,
there's quite a few other comments here which probably won't be able to come through. Assembled, Michael, thank you for your time tonight on the show. Much appreciated. Maybe I just want to iterate how important it is that the performance, I saw this one, a big performance is needed, um, in his opinion, by the players and not lose confidence in him. Um, Arteta is more of a coach than a tactical manager. I think Sterling is our danger man. I'm hope you're right. I don't believe that, but I'm hoping you are right. I mean, North London, the fans can turn on Arteta if they're losing. For sure, they can. I think it's a draw. All right, Michael. I'm sure you feel that. Martinelli is a CF who played with his head up. He has been trained to be a left wing with his head down. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. Any last comments from you before you go, Mr. Chairman, Warren?
No, thanks for having me on again. Nice meeting you, Yano. Yeah, let's do it again. Keep
Yeah,
rolling,
no, for
guys.
sure.
thanks,
Good
Let's
luck.
thanks,
do it
man.
well.
Good
Thanks
luck on
for
Nice to meet
Sunday.
you
being
guys.
available, man. Same to you,
And thanks
man.
for the team. And thanks for the team. Good team. Very good team.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
I'll send it on. I'll send it on WhatsApp to you.
Let's see what it
Um,
looks like on Sunday. Yeah.
yeah, let's see what it's look like
Yeah,
on Sunday. Anything from you, Yano? I know you came a bit late. You were driving mostly, but yeah, anything last from you
yeah. No, thanks for the invite, man. We know and we see each other a lot on
on
TikTok.
TikTok?
So
Yeah,
it's nice to go come on YouTube and
yeah.
join your
No, this is
channel
the
and
platform. I love the platform. I don't much TikTok is not much of that, but yeah. Anyway, people, thank you for
yeah.
watching. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, assembled. Subscribe to Good No Matters. Hit the like and of course share this stream. Nice show. Thank you, man. Cheers, everybody. Be awesome.
Cheers,
Be
Abe.
blessed and be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye bye.
thanks, man.
Okay,
Bye
cheers.